I got a grumpy note from a tenant the other day who wants their money back. Well, will I keep their money and stick it to them, or will I refund? That's what this Glamping Guy episode's all about. Hey, I'm Chris Joop, the Glamping Guy, and I run a glamping operation here in Monument, Colorado, and I help train other glamping operators how to run safe, legal, and profitable glamping operations on their private property. I had somebody last week stay in one of our beautiful tents called Braveheart Creekside tent. It was a windy day and it was chilly, but they're glamping, they're out in a tent, and they paid good money for a wonderful time. But they checked in the afternoon. It's a self-check-in process, and not far afterwards, they sent me this note. Hey there, Chris and Wendy. I booked 2 nights, tonight and tomorrow, and just arrived at the tent. It's a nice property, but my fiance and I are feeling like we've been duped after spending almost $150 per night. After seeing the pictures advertising a secluded area and expecting to be more in nature, and now realizing we're in the middle of a neighborhood and can hear traffic on the highway. We're staying tonight, but want to know what your cancellation policy is if we decide to cancel tomorrow. Thanks in advance. All right, so there you have it. Now, whenever I think other glamping operators kind of get a note like this where their expectations have not been met, bing, there's a little angel on my shoulder that pops up and says, oh, give the poor souls their money back. Their expectations weren't met, and you don't want a bad review, so just give them their money back and be done. And then there's bing! Well, what? You didn't read directions? What do you think you're going to be, in the Taj Mahal? Come on, you're glamping. You're out in the wilderness, so you can hear the highway 2 miles away. I mean, give me a break. You're down there. Enjoy it. Get over it. Now, Wendy and I have 2 principles that I want to share with you right now. One is that we always treat guests like we would like to be treated if we were traveling. So in a way, I want to put myself in this guest's head. I didn't meet them. They self-checked in, but I want to place myself in their moccasins, so to speak. And they're not pleased with what they're staying at. And I want to treat them like I would like to be treated if I was not pleased at a glamping operation. But secondly, I have also a bad weather policy where if bad weather ruins your vacation, your staycation, then I'll refund as much as I can refund. I mean, there's sometimes OTA fees get in the way and things like that. I want to make glamping as risk-free as possible. And so people come and stay on my property and stay in the outdoors and enjoy themselves. I don't want their stay to be awful. I want them to have a great time. So that's my genuine desire. So I'll give money back if their plans are ruined from bad weather. Now, it just so happens that day we were getting record winds in the area. So they're down in this bell tent right next to the creek. I'm surprised I could hear the highway because the winds were just howling, and I felt bad for them. It's just, and it was cold, it was chilly, and so I did feel genuinely bad that they were having a poor time. I was slightly offended though when he said we feel duped, because they didn't read directions. They didn't know what they were getting into. And that happens sometimes when people go glamping. They have this idea that they're going to come to this. They didn't really read it wasn't even fine print. I mean, it's like in my description, I explain, hey, you're in the elements. You'll hear coyotes. You are out in the wilderness. We are in a rural residential property. So there's all sorts of failures that this tenant made, or mistakes that they made when they were booking, that they should have known better. However, my job as a host isn't to remind them of their failures. My job is to make sure they have an awesome experience. That's what I'm trying to do. So even though I'm a debate coach and I can debate people till I convince them that I'm right and they're wrong, that's not my job. Okay. And I chose not to go that route to try to convince him that he should really actually have a good time. That's not what I did. So here's how the conversation went with my tenant. Hi, name that I will not reveal. Gosh, we hate ruining expectations. The spring hasn't quite bloomed yet and vegetation is just starting to grow, so it does make things seem more in the open. Please stay tonight and reconsider in the morning. This wind will likely die down and the camping experience by the creek will be very nice. If you still feel you need to leave in the morning, we will refund your second night. And that's really what he was asking for. He was saying, look, I'll stay first night, but we want to leave in the morning. And so I allowed him to do that with the expectation that he would just leave in the morning and I'd give him his second night for free, or I'd give him his second night money back. He actually responded in kind. He said, that is very kind of you, and I appreciate your response. I will send over a message in the morning if we decide. Thank you again. Now, late that night, another message came in. Dun, dun, dun. Hey there, just letting you know that we're actually leaving home right now. Unfortunately, we're freezing our tails off. Not your fault. Please let me know if we can have a refund for both nights. We're happy to pay a cleaning fee, but thanks in advance. So there once again, bing! Oh, give them their money back. Oh, and then bing! They should have known better. It was the weather after all. It wasn't that they felt duped. It's that they were unprepared. They should have ordered propane. There is a heater down there they weren't using. So again, I'm not out to persuade them about how they just didn't prepare for a glamping experience. I'm not out to persuade them that I was very clear about what their glamping experience would be. I really don't care. I want their satisfaction. Wendy and I had to talk about this one and think, okay, what are our values? Again, our values. We want to treat people the way we would like to be treated if we were traveling. And we do have a bad weather policy. If bad weather ruins your staycation, then we will give you your money back as best we can. Now, the bad weather one was kind of shady because we had other glampers staying in tents that night. So we kind of wanted to say, well, I mean, wimps, yeah, you could have stuck it out. But bad weather is kind of a relative thing. If they feel like it was ruined, you don't really know if they're going to be hard, rugged, outdoorsy types who are up for the bad weather, or if they want to be pampered. They expect the warmth of a hotel room. I don't really know until they're here and they complain. So in this case, they really wanted a warmer venture, and they didn't get it. So we decided to go the angel way once again. This is how I replied. I'm really sorry your stay was so unpleasant. In retrospect, propane should have been ordered. Nonetheless, we have a bad weather policy that says if bad weather ruins your glamping experience, we'll refund as much as we can. I'll issue a refund minus cleaning once this payment clears. Checkout is technically tomorrow. Please consider us again when the weather warms up. So I gave them really everything they were asking for. They wanted a refund for both nights because they left early. They did mess up the beds a little bit, and they were smoking cigarettes down by the creek, so there were some cigarette butts there, but big deal. They really didn't make a big mess. I was more vested in making sure that they were satisfied, even though their glamping experience turned south. And this was their response. Thank you very much. We appreciate you refunding us the nights and being so accommodating and understanding. 10 out of 10 customer service. So he left very satisfied, and that really does make us feel good, even though we probably lost close to $300 on that transaction. That's okay. That's part of doing business, and he's leaving as a satisfied customer. He might come back in the summer when it's not 30 degrees out at night and wind blowing and howling, and he would be welcome back, and his expectations will have changed. So now he knows what he's getting into. And so his story, his narrative may change when he comes, and he and his fiance can say, you know what, let's go back to the creek because it's 100 degrees out and the weather is gorgeous this weekend. Let's go back to Braveheart and have a wonderful creekside glamping stay. I followed up with that email and said this: you're welcome. Part of what we do is try hard to make glamping as risk-free as possible. Just get people outdoors. So, as we like to say, if your glamping is ruined by bad weather, cold, rain, snow, etc., we refund as much as we possibly can. Since you direct booked, we were able to withdraw both nights. And there you go. So he got his money back for those 2 nights. He did pay for the cleaning, which is really a kind of a hard fixed cost that we need to follow through with. And he's happy and satisfied. So that's how Glamping Guy handles his customers. And you see how it makes glamping as risk-free as possible. I really mean that. I want people outdoors. I want them staying on my property. I want them having a great time in good weather as well as bad. But people resist even trying to go glamping because of the risk of bad weather. I don't like stiffing people for taking that risk and getting outdoors and having a good time. So that's the kind of thing that Glamping Guy teaches his students. So I hope you go to glampingguy.com and sign up for my freebie stuff. I've got a great download that I think you would enjoy if you're considering hosting a glamping operation on your private property. I'm Chris Jube, the Glamping Guy. Till next time, we'll see you glamping.